Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here with a big update for the build. It's going to be probably a little bit of a longer video, and this is actually me having to re-record this for the third time. One, because it's kind of made some mistakes the first time. Second time, because YouTube apparently has been processing the video for over an hour now, so there's some sort of issue. And I also forgot to mention some things. So we're trying to cover everything in the video. Now, first things first, this build update, as we talked about the last time, we made some big changes to be a mana stacker, and we've gone from being a glass cannon to being like the tankiest build I've ever played in Torchlight by a large margin. It feels like typically what I do at the end of the game is I will like just glass cannon my way all the way into deep space, and then I will build defenses so I can beat the Supreme Showdown levels, and this feels like my finished character level of tankiness. And the reason for that is because we are a mana stacker. Right now, mana is our damage, mana is our life, mana is everything. Mana, 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 mana. I feel like I'm the main character of one of my favorite stories, Hell Difficulty Tutorial. Really great book, go check it out. But we just stack mana to the moon. And so pretty much how this works is that Rosa's like special mechanics here make it so that when you are attacking, when you're not in the realm, you're building up your mercury value, but as soon as you go into the realm, you are recovering 20% of your mana per attack. And then this last node over here makes it so we can consume our mana while we're still in the realm. Normally you cannot consume or regain mana anyway except for her like special hero traits, and so this makes it so we can consume mana. We're consuming a little bit more than 8% right now, and this gives us our mercury points back in a different way. Also gives us a lot of damage, and so the more mana we have, the more mercury we have. Each point of mercury has more damage. It's just kind of like this self-consuming thing that goes really wild in terms of damage, which is really great. We also have 25% of our damage is taken from mana before life while we're in the realm, only while we're in the realm. And then we get more additional elemental damage. This scales all the way up to 20,000 mana, which is just very, very solid for us. And so we're getting mana back just non-stop as we're attacking, which is really good. Now, my original goal was to attack 10 times a second. But if we go over here, we can see that right now our attack speed bonus is we're almost at 20 attacks a second, which is probably going to be like a nice solid breakpoint. Oh, 21 there when I actually spin. And so probably trying to get up to like 20, 25, 30 attacks a second. I think it's probably like the true super duper end game goal here, just because of the way frame timing works. But when we attack, thanks to this Arcanist trait here, we consume 4% of our mana every time we attack with our main skill. And then we also have this a second time on Slate, so we're consuming 8% of our mana. We also have the max mana and mana cost on rings, which makes it so that we are consuming more mana per attack. And we just want to consume as much mana as possible, up to at least 200,000-ish. And the reason for that is because of two legendaries. Glacial Caster Shield pretty much gives us huge flat physical damage when we consume mana. This stacks up to 200 times. This gets really good when corroded. I don't have a corroded one here, which is very nice to have. But now if I was going to go which stats here are the most important, this one, the bottom one's most important. Sealed mana compensation is very good, and then the mana is the best. Anywhere you see mana regeneration on our gear period at all, it does nothing for the build at all. We cannot regenerate mana with the build. The character cannot regenerate mana from any way besides attacking. It will not work. This is the only way you can. So anywhere you see these things, it's just bad. You don't care about that stat. And so we want to consume as much mana as possible. And we can tell that we are consuming a lot of mana already just from looking at our character sheet. If you don't know already, if you go up to Invincible number 2, click Info, go over here, you can see your stats update in real time for stuff. This is mostly accurate. And if we go here, I'm just going to line everything up. So we see we have 30.6% crit. Put that about the same spot, 30.6 with 260 critical strike damage. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start attacking. Spin a little bit here to get all our buffs up, and we can see that the crit damage goes to the moon. So we're like about 1150-ish, which means that we're getting a lot of damage. That's like 10 times more damage plus just from critical strike damage, which is why these gloves are way better than Archmage, and soon enough we'll be at a 100% chance to crit with huge critical strike damage, and it's be absolutely just blowing stuff up with our critical strikes, which is going to be very nice. So between these two, we're consuming tons of mana, which is really great, and getting lots of buffs. That also means that we don't really care what's on our weapon in terms of flat damage. So at this point, it's just going to be like whatever the base is. We're looking for ultimate affixes like attack skill level is still really good. We could do armor pen. We could do elemental resistance penetration. Heck, you could do +2 shadows if you're not doing a sword. That's not something that's available here. I wouldn't really recommend double damage. I'm going to try to get double damage somewhere else. And so attack and penetration, intelligence is very good. You want to get intelligence with this build. You do not want to get dexterity anywhere in your gear at all, period. Very important. Do not get any dexterity or strength, positive or negative, at all on your build. I will talk about this when we get to the passives. Very important. Do not get strength or dexterity on your gear. And then for the suffixes, we want gear attack speed, gear critical strike rating, and then you can do physical or elemental damage here. Doesn't matter. Either one is perfectly fine. They're pretty much equal to one another. And then for rings, we want focus blessing instead of agility. I just got what I wanted. I didn't get what I wanted here. Mana, mana, mana. And then you can do double res or crit. I'm probably going to do double res here eventually because we are not res capped yet. Same thing over here. Mana, 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 double res, and then armor pen here right now. We're eventually going to switch that to focus blessing instead. Focus blessings are very, very solid for us. On boots, we want to get damage taken from mana before life and mana. Now, this is kind of what I want to talk about here, what you kind of need to switch over. I probably should have started the gear section with this. However, you need to have 100% mana taken or damage taken from mana before life. Super important because we are not going to have any life. We don't have any inner shield. So all of the damage has to come from your mana. And so you're going to get this both from your hero trait. You get 25%. We get 20% from the mana main talent. So that's 45. We get another 8% from the tree. So we're at 53%. You can get that 8% also on a slate again. And so you just need to finish the rest out with these 3 pieces. If you are going to be short here, you could potentially go and, like, instead of having on a hat or a chest or something, you could just have more slates, which should be fine. I think eventually once we get some of these mods up to tier 0, they're going to be able to drop one of them either off the hat or the chest. Both of them have really good ultimate mods. The boots kind of have bad ultimate mods. The only thing I possibly would want here, I think, is, well, the damage taken first, and then maybe physical taken as fire. Aim doesn't work for us, surprisingly. It does nothing. We're not a ranged skill, so it doesn't count. And then most of the suffixes here all suck for us, except for maybe the chance to avoid ailments. So I might even switch this to just cold skill level. It would be fine there. Then we are just picking up, the damage from mana up here. We are probably going to, instead of taking this, we're going to go take either plus support skill level or additional damage taken by nearby enemies. Both of these are pretty solid, and maybe like in perfect world, if we actually craft it out, it's going to be both of these two, and we drop both of these up here. For the chest, there's a lot of good options as well. Right now I have the sealed mana compensation. Maybe if I get a good corruption on my shield, we can drop this here. You can also get +1 curse. We can get explode. It's just a lot. Physical as fire, all of that stuff is pretty good. The suffixes, we also have aura effect, which is pretty good as well. And so there's just a lot of things you can potentially get there. For my other piece of gear, Mercurial Torment is like a very, very cheap alternative to Phantom. I know there's a chilling amulet as well that you could potentially use. I'm just going with Mercurial Torment. This costs like 40 FE to buy. It's probably going to go up in price a little bit, but this is something you can just farm a lot, pretty easily out of the first or the last treasure trove, which is pretty cool. For compensatory life, this is a really great belt as well. It gives us spell amplification when we're on low life. We are always going to be on low life. The mana regeneration does nothing for us. The spell damage, when we consume mana, we're pretty much going to cap this out regardless of the roll. So that's fine. Mana regeneration speed, I don't think does anything for us either because we're not regenerating once again. So that's a terrible stat. And then the max mana at the top is really, really good. I put +1 jumps on this because it just feels a lot better for the clear. You might want to get this like on candle or something else because there's a lot of power that can go on blending, but a lot of it's very expensive. And I don't really want to spend any money putting a big blend on my belt until I have a nice double corrupt, probably on the max mana and the spell amplification. But we'll get to that later. There's a lot of room still in the build. Obviously, you saw that most of my mods are like tier 2, not tier 1, and 0 tier 0s so far. So that's pretty much that. Let's go through the trees here. First, I'll start off with Statue New God. I have a Gravity and Mana combo here. Gravity gives us a melee damage, and then Mana gives us damage taken from mana or additional mana. You want probably a slate that has this, or you could potentially do like some of the other stuff on the tree up here in Arcanist. So we have Mind Focus, which turns our focus blessings into even more flat physical. So I think that that would be another good option as well. These are probably going to be quite expensive. If you can't afford one of these, you can just use any slate that's going to give you damage, and you're just going to take mana on the tree. I think you'll be just fine. You do not need to have a slate with mana or with Mind Focus. You'll be fine with something else as long as it's giving you damage. The only thing I would recommend avoiding, it should be fine. There's pretty much like not... like just as long as you're getting damage. Goddess of Knowledge, the tree is pretty much the same. We did make some changes so we can pick up mana. You're pretty much going to notice there's lots of mana. We're going spell damage, picking up some intelligence here as well, still scaling us. Focus blessing stuff, still have. We're going chilly. We're still going insight. Additional skill cost now becomes very nice for us. Next up, we're going Arcanist. We're going mana, 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 some more mana, mana, more mana. Didn't take the seal compensation, but it's still mana up here. And then damage taken from life, taken from mana before life. Focus blessing, the mana regen doesn't matter for us, but we want the +1 focus. More intelligence, mana per intelligence, and then spell cost and spell damage, or skill cost and spell damage, and then additional damage and more consumption here. And then if you have to take just one of these, you're going to want to take mana. Mana, 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 mana. Next up, we have Ronin. And Ronin, we're getting this really overpowered main talent called Trade-Off that gives us additional attack speed when dexterity is equal to strength. And these have to be exactly equal, exactly perfectly equal, down to the decimal. So if you have any percentage dexterity or strength, this can become incredibly difficult to balance perfectly. And thankfully, we don't need to take dexterity or strength to scale our skill. Even though dexterity does help us, we don't want to take it at all, because this is going to give us 20% additional attack speed, but it's also going to give us 25% additional attack damage. So that's a lot of damage. And the attack speed is really solid here as well. At the end of this tree, we're just going to pick up melee damage, attack speed. Attack speed is basically more mana per second. So you could say that attack speed is basically more mana. So more mana, always good. This critical strike rating stuff here, we could probably swap this for block as well if we want to be a little bit more tanky. This is the only spot we're going to take some dexterity and strength. Since we're taking them together at the same time, they're going to be the same value. We don't have to worry about re-rolling stats on rings or something. Trust me, 2 seasons ago, I played a trade-off character that wanted both strength and dexterity with Rayhan 1, and it was a literal nightmare to balance strength and dexterity. So don't get dexterity in your build. You'll be fine besides these points. We're going to take more attack speed here. Negative melee damage does kind of suck, but attack speed equals mana, so mana is good. We don't take the multi-strike, more melee damage, more shadows. Shadow quantity is very solid for us here. So pretty much this entire tree just boils down to attack speed, a little bit of crit, a little bit of dex, more attack speed, shadow, and then we pick up lots of damage and attack speed. Lastly, we're going Lich, and we're going mana, attack speed, which is, mana. The minus skill cost here might actually be bad, and I might be speccing out of these points. I want to test it out and try some different things. Attack speed is good. Minus cost is bad. Maybe we don't take these points. We take something else. And then we're just going to taking all the sealed compensation, all the damage here for plus skills. And then the off the beaten track is really good. This increases the support skill level. Also makes it so that when we put support skills on an aura, it reduces the mana. This is also a problem because when we put support skills on our Frost Strike, it reduces the mana. But the base cost of Frost Spike is pretty low. So we're losing a little bit anyways. I don't think it's all that big deal. We could potentially go Indifference because we are going to have a lot of free energy. Next up, let's talk about the skill stuff here. So Frostbite, pretty much we have the classic Haunt, Willpower, and Elemental Fusion, which we were doing before. Elemental Fusion, not being able to apply Frostbite or Numbed, isn't really a big deal because we apply it with our aura around us all the time. A lot of the enemies we're going to be attacking are going to be inside of that. So we're still freezing the crap out of stuff really crazily. Quick Decision is more attack speed, which is more mana. So yeah, we definitely want this. Precision Strike does more damage, but also does more attack speed, which is more mana. Right, yeah, you got it. All right, so for Ice Bond here, this is a Sentry that's going to give us more cold damage when it's near us, but this is kind of a pain in the butt to manage. So what we're going to do is get Activation Medium Sentry with as little range as possible. So whenever there is no Sentry within 10 meters of me, it is going to pop one of these bad boys out. This has a 1 second cooldown. So as I whirl around, this little ice beam thing is pretty much always going to be on me because as soon as I get out of range of it, a new one is going to appear in its place, and it's just pretty nice to have. Next up, same Spiral Strikes, Binding Cold. I need to go and get a better automation tool for this. That's been kind of lazy. Mana Boil, same thing. Mana Boil does help consume 3% of our mana per second, which is very nice. It gives us additional spell damage, which is more damage for us thanks to our first hero trait. And then we can stack this up. We pretty much press the button 3 times. So every single time it gets all the way to the top, we press the button again. And then once you have it up 3 times, you're pretty much good to go. And that's because Mass Effect gives us more effect for each time for the skill per charge when we use the skill. And then Well-Fought Battle gives us more effect each time we use it. Now for auras here, Weapon Amplification is the one we're running right now because of paralysis on hit. Eventually this will be replaced and we'll have to find another source of paralysis because we're going to get Phantom Amulet, which only has base weapon amplification, which does kind of suck. We are getting Thunder Magus here with superpower, and I will either have this active if I'm doing bosses and stuff, or I'll click deactivate and activate Flame Focus if I want to do maps. And this is just very solid because this gives us some nice explosions here, and we never turn on precise projectiles. It's literally only here so the game doesn't have the little like, you have an open skill slot thing, which I absolutely hate. This doesn't get put on ever. I don't really press the activate all button. And we're only putting everything on life here. So seal conversion, if you're not able to convert, you're not able to like have everything on your life right away, your restraint or seal conversion might need higher ranks, or you might need some seal compensation like on a candle, for example. And that's pretty much how that works. Additional physical damage here is pretty solid for a choice. These are pretty cheap. And I'm probably going to upgrade candles to something ridiculous in the next few days, but that's pretty much the play there. Lastly, let's talk about pack spirit stuff. So you want to go out and get the micro and medium fates here. They give you more mana. This helped me out quite a bit to get quite a bit more mana. Hopefully you get high rolls as you put them in. And here's where I put them. Now, it's kind of weird because when I first recorded this video like an hour ago or so, my Fog Scorpion was level 3 and now he's level 4. So you might notice a little bit of a difference in the build code. Yeah, we pulled him again off the Doro banner and he's actually kind of insanely good. I'm normally not a huge fan of this guy, but he gives us additional attack speed against single targets. And so I do have a pick box from this season and 2 from last season. So I might just pick box this guy up to level 6 and because it gives us 6% more attack speed, which is kind of good. The other 2 pets are pretty solid as well. The ones that are new, the Valkyrie's Night Patrol, you stack up this buff instantaneously, very easily. And then Azure Gunslinger is a little bit annoying because we do have to use our movement skill to keep the buff up, and we kind of just want to sit there and stay attacking. And so you kind of want to keep an eye on the buff up there and only spin if you have to for, you know, staying alive, like avoiding a big slam attack or something like that, which is the only thing that can really kill us, or to refresh your buff. And I just hit, 3 times to reset the whole thing, and we just kind of sit there and spam up our critical strike damage. But that's it for the skills. That's it for the passives. Hero traits. We're going all the way left side now. You want to get a mana memory here because, well, we stack mana, and you pretty much on all your hero memories want to look for attack speed. I picked up blinding because we might do something weird later, but you could potentially pick up a lot of different stuff. This particular one here, the attack speed, I couldn't find another attack speed one, so I went attack block, and then I got way too much block. You don't need this. I probably will try to sell this eventually. This is kind of just ludicrous amounts of block, or maybe it'll be useful for Supreme Showdown. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I feel super tanky as is. So the weird thing that I was talking about though is if we get a tower sequence here, there's not really a lot of great sequences for us on this weapon. And so probably the best one here is either the additional damage for attacks or +1 focus blessings. I think either one of these is probably pretty good. If I was going to go and get any of these base ones, you probably want to take either cold penetration or 15% gear attack speed, because 15% gear attack speed is 15% multiplicative attack speed, which we know that attack speed equals mana. So this is more mana, and mana is good. The in-depth ones, the high tier boys, the only ones that I probably would want to take would be like, I guess, the Headhunter one here, Eternal Moment, or maybe Blind Warlock, because this gives us 50% of our physical as elemental, and we are blinded, so being blind immune is nice here. And the Absolute Order fixes our order here. This could maybe be pretty good as well. And so that's pretty much it. Let's show a little bit of gameplay for the video here. I don't know if I have a boss ready to go. So just run a random one here, just random stuff on here. One thing to note is when you're in Profound, the top modifier up here can start to be one of the scary modifiers for Deep Space. So things like, well, I don't want to do Dome. We'll show a different one here because Dome is really annoying for the lead mechanic. It can be ones that are like Frosted, for example. Avoid Frosted. This is the one mechanic we can't really do anything about yet. This basically stops your character, and for not attacking, we're not getting our health back. But if you're getting ones like the Ignite or the Trauma one, we can face tank those. I'm not too sure about Blight yet. Now, first thing you need to do when you come on the map is you need to attack, and we're going to stay attacking. But when you first come in, you have no Mercury value, which you have to build up. And then as long as you stay attacking, you are practically invincible. There are some things that hit really, really hard. Like some of these bosses have big single hit attacks, or they will shoot a ton of damage over time on the ground. I am not currently res capped, so some of those can hit harder than the 16,000 mana that I have. But besides that, you are practically not going to take any damage. And since we're recovering so much of our mana every second, the things that do kill you is going to 100 to 0 you, because you're recovering over 200% of your total life every second. So you like, they don't like, you'd have to see frame by frame. You'd have to be Superman or the Flash or something in order to catch your death, because it's probably just going to be one big single hit. We're probably not going to have the like ice torrent thing that like always one-shots me in this map, just because of what region we're in. But like I can sit inside the ice torrent because that is a series of small hits, and we just recover way too fast for it to kill me. Even then, I still like instinctually dodge stuff because, well, just used to it at this point in the game. And yeah, as you can see, the damage is pretty good. Health is not really moving at all. This can potentially kill me here. The fire on the ground, it just stacks up way too fast. But even like some of these guys here that like explode, like, you know, for the most part, we're not taking like really any damage. We're blocking some stuff as well. And it's just very, very tanky, very smooth, very fun to play. There's another 16 FE on the ground. And yeah, just really been enjoying it quite a bit here. And so this is only going to get more tanky. We're trying to get our mana up to at least 30,000 mana, which I think is definitely going to be achievable, especially as we get corruptions on gear. We go and do some other stuff. There's maybe some star trail tech that we can do. Just generally our gear right now is pretty dog water. I definitely oversaved quite a bit of currency for the swap. I didn't really want to go down in terms of my gear, and we kind of like went up massively. So I probably waited a little too long. I was a little too much of a wuss. but I'm very happy to like this build that we planned out from, you know, before the season even started. It's been working out really, really well, and it only looks like it's going to go up. Hopefully we'll be able to find all the damage and tech to push this all the way up to deep space and beat Supreme Showdown 20. But come hang the stream if you want to see the full process. I'm literally live right now. We're re-recording the video. We'll see you guys again soon. Later.